Controlling your state and holding your frame unlocks intuition and other superpowers. Now, what I mean by that is if you have complete control over your mindset, over your emotional state, irrespective of what is going on the outside, like you don't let any emotional triggers kind of impact your emotions. You don't let anything else impact your emotions. You don't let somebody else's words, opinions, and facts kind of bring up all these lower vibrational emotions such as anger, shame, guilt, hate, pain. You don't let it kind of hurt you. You essentially gain superpowers because when you are holding your frame, when you are in your state, you kind of don't let anybody else trigger you to experience those lower vibrational emotions. And when you don't experience lower vibrational emotions on a regular basis, guess what? You'll be in a state of neutrality, you'll be in a state of courage, and you'll be constantly experiencing higher vibrational emotions. And that essentially is thriving mode. And you'll be out of the survival mode. You'll be essentially thriving in this higher vibrational state. And that makes it so much more easier for you to slip into flow states, do whatever you want, because life essentially becomes more easy. You have limitless energy. You can go 8 hours without burning out. And that is what I call limitless fuel, limitless energy. Because when you have complete control over your state, when you have complete control over your mind and not letting anything else trigger you, guess what? You kind of understand what place the other person is coming from. If the other person is coming from a state of anger, you understand it. And this is what I call intuition, because you know how the other person is going to react now. You can kind of sense, you get this spidey sense, this Spider-Man sense, like you know what the other person is going to do. And it becomes very predictable. You walk into any social situation and you'll know what state people are in, what are they feeling. Like if you practice this for a long period of time, like sometimes even gifted people can get this superpower within a week, within a day or two. Like if you're constantly aligning yourself in this higher vibrational state, not letting any external triggers kind of impact your emotional state. If you're staying in that state, you essentially gain the ability to understand other people's emotional state. Like you'll be just standing there, you can look at people and you'll know what they're feeling. You'll know what they're about to say. Even if they say something completely random or completely irrelevant to the topic that you're discussing at that moment, you know what place they're coming from. Because communication in itself, it's not what you say. It's more about the body language and how you kind of convey it. It's more about the vibe. You can say something that's completely offensive, but if you're feeling love and if it actually comes from a good place, it doesn't land as very offensive. That's why you see some people, they see the most meanest things and they get away with it. Because internally, they don't mean that. They don't mean to offend anybody because they're coming from a different place. They're coming from a different state. So that's what happens. You are embodying this higher vibrational energy. You're not letting anything kind of provoke you. You have this ability to know what place people are coming from. Like what is the vibe behind their conversation? What is the vibe behind their words? What is their intention behind the things that they say? And you can kind of read it off of them. You know, in that movie Scarface, Al Pacino is like, the eyes never lie, Chico. The eyes never lie. Because your eyes are the window to the soul. You can be the best actor in the world. You can put on a fake front. And you can literally put on a show. Be a character, be a showman. And show all these fake things on the forefront, but something else is going on in the background. But your vibe will let it out. Your eyes will let it out. Because people can sense it. And that's why, you know, women are more intuitive than men. And that's what I realized. Like, if you bring your friend home and your mom would be the first one to tell, like, this may be a fake friend. This friend doesn't care about you. At that point, you will think and notice, oh, why is she telling us this is my friend? And your mom will be like, no, don't trust that person. Because they have heightened levels of intuition. Because they can sense off the energy the person is giving out. They can sense off the vibrational state of the other person. And it kind of bleeds out, it radiates outside. Because if you are nervous, all right, if you're going and talking to somebody, the other person will also feel that nervous energy. If you are very angry, your body language, I mean, even if you correct your body language, if you are very, very, very angry, it radiates off of you. You can be the most blessed actor, the most skilled actor. You can tell something very softly, be the nicest person in the room, but your anger will kind of radiate out, and people can sense that. People will notice that. So when you are in this state, this void state, this is what I call void state. So when you are in this void state, not being triggered by anybody else, it's like you are complete control of your emotions, you have complete control of your mind, you have complete control of your vibrational state. You're there not letting anything trigger you. You're completely stoic, you're there. And you kind of sense off people's vibration. You sense their energy. And you have this sixth sense, like you know what they're going to tell next. You know how the situation is going to unfold. Like you'll just start a conversation with a group of people and you'll know like who's going to say this, who's going to say that. And this is basically intuition. This gives you that superpower to predict stuff in a social context. I mean, it's so magical because if you are constantly in this higher vibrational state and you're not giving in to these lower vibrational triggers, guess what? Life becomes easy. You'll know what other people is going to say. You'll immediately know if a person can be trusted or not. Because that's the thing. Most of us go through so much trauma and pain because we trust the wrong people. We give our heart. We love the wrong people. We are in relationships with the wrong people. We have friendships with the wrong people. We get screwed over. And now we have emotional baggage. We have trauma that's connected to that. And every time we experience sadness, pain, shame, or hate, we connect situations. We connect those traumatic things that happened in the past to that feeling of sadness. And it just compounds and things are not really pleasant. You just go into this rabbit hole of constantly overthinking, piling up the sadness, making it worse and worse and worse, and you're not really expressing it. I mean, it just, it's not a good ending, if you know what I mean. So stay in state, hold your frame, no matter what. Because it is very hard in today's society because there are things that you see on billboards. Like you just open up your phone. You don't even have to talk to people nowadays. Just open up your phone. You know, the messages that comes, the notifications that comes, those will trigger you. Like most of the times, even if you decide, okay, I am not going to talk to anybody, I'm not going to open my phone, you go walk on the street, you'll see some things and it's going to trigger you. And the key thing is to not be triggered and hold your state. Because when you're not triggered and you're holding your state, it opens up so much space. Because your mind was constantly being pressurized by all these lower vibrational emotions. Like it was always in survival mode. It was not in thriving mode. You were always surviving, going from one place to the next place, going from one thing to another. And you're not fully thriving. There's no creative balance that's happening in your brain. And it's being bombarded by these lower vibrational emotions and it's weighing you down like an anchor. So when you stop, you know, being bombarded by these lower vibrational emotions, when you stop being consumed by anger, shame, hate, pain, guilt, you free up space in your mind. And when you free up space and you align yourself to the higher vibrational emotions, you're feeling love, you're feeling joy, you're feeling happiness, you're feeling neutrality. You start to see things from a neutral perspective. You have no emotions attached. Like any conversation you go into, you have no emotions attached there. It's like you're talking to people. You're not getting triggered. You're not getting overly excited. You're not being a fanboy. I mean, if you are being a fanboy to somebody, they're going to treat you like a fan. If you treat them like a celebrity, they're going to treat you like a fan. And if you are desperate for somebody's attention and energy, guess what? It's going to repel away. Desperation is not attractive. Being within yourself, going inside yourself, and being comfortable in your own skin, that is magnetic. That is attractive. So that basically is magnetism. Now I made an entire video about that. I'll link it down in the description below and the pop-up card above. So basically, when you don't give in to these lower vibrational triggers, you're not allowing yourself to be in this survival mode. You're constantly in this higher vibrational state. You are thriving. You're holding your state. Guess what? Nothing can trigger you. You enter this void state where you can sense people's energy. You can sense people's emotion. You can predict what they're going to do next, what they're going to tell next. You can tell if you can trust them or not. This basically makes life so much more easier because Most of the pain and shame and all these lower vibrational emotions that we experience are from the result of bad relationships, bad friendships, and from being with toxic people. That's what brings us the most pain, brings us the most shame, guilt, and all these things that are not really pleasant. So when you have this ability, I consider this as a superpower. When you have this ability to stay in your state and identify the kind of people you're talking to, identify the place they're coming from, and their future intentions. You kind of, have this superpower, you have this ability. So hope that helps. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.